Hello, Master. So, I'm going to basically the topic that is degradation, basically it is the topic that is universe creation. So, one of the person told that one of the person told that basically. So every time basically 102 time basically the world has already ended. So whenever the world basically ends, no, basically here basically that is this location basically 90,000 year age person gets shifts to this location, that is this land basically. And one of the person told that basically that location is, I will tell that location basically because this is very dangerous topic, that's why basically I will tell that location in just a minute. That location is this basically. Himalaya mountain. Assume that basically this is the location. And here basically the people don't stay basically. So this basically you can say that this is that location basically. See basically this is that location. One of the person to that basically we have tracked that basically that here lots of people are basically staying. So they basically the Chinese group basically and the Indian group basically collaboration with Indian president basically, that is the Narendra Damodar Modi groups basically. They basically drilling the Himalaya mountain basically. So you can just imagine basically the political people are basically they don't basically live this 90,000 year old people also basically, because this group basically have doubt basically that this type of population basically exists somewhere basically. So this group basically say that basically we have searched entire sea water also basically, but and we basically tracked the each and every island also basically. There also basically we can't able to find basically the 90,000 year people basically. So at last basically they basically thought that basically we will do one thing, we will track the Himalaya mountain and Mount Everest also basically. So they basically are drilling the Himalaya mountain basically, and the name basically is given as a some project basically. That project basically you can just imagine basically there is no meaning of basically drilling the Himalaya mountain basically, but they basically have doubt basically that 90,000 year people basically exist somewhere basically, because they have doubt at that basically how the human body basically are getting controlled by the set of groups basically. They know that basically the 90,000 year people basically are controlling the current earth planet land people basically. That is the corona group basically, that is the corona chain group basically. They tracked that basically that somebody is basically controlling from the earth planet only basically, and whenever the basically the world basically gets end basically they shifts their land basically gets shift to the other side, and the world basically gets end basically, and the land basically which gets shift na basically. Lots of people says that basically from universe group says that basically that is I think Himalaya mountain basically, and few people basically the other side basically say that basically the Mount Everest is also there basically. That means one of the person told that Himalaya mountain basically keeps on getting breaking basically many time basically, because they have to do the checking also basically, because it might possible that the world will end, world basically is ending that time basically they can't shift the, they can't basically break the Himalaya mountain basically like that. That is also thing basically, and it's very dangerous thing basically. So this is actually very dangerous topic basically, the Himalaya mountain basically. Himalaya mountain, it's very dangerous basically. And this topic basically we have already discussed, that is about this story basically. And this story basically has become now normal thing basically, because we have discussed lots of things basically. That's why basically this whole topic basically has become normal basically. So one of the person was that basically how the things basically gets activated basically, as if that basically people died basically, and they basically started the next generation basically. And here basically the Mahatma Gandhi does not exist, USA does not exist, India does not exist. Each and every world basically ended basically, and they basically washed out the entire world basically, and entire world basically is under the sea water basically. So how basically they start the world basically next time basically? What are the things basically they gets into the picture basically? So they few people basically tells that basically, assume that basically 103 time basically the world has ended. So 103 time basically which world was ended basically, their blood basically are going to connect to the current human generation basically. And that 90,000 people basically generates that. 90,000 people basically generates that. So you can just imagine basically 90,000 people basically are basically how much powerful basically. Then one of the person told that, as in that basically 90,000 people basically around uh, 18 people basically are there basically. 18 people basically are there whose age basically is 90,000 year, and they basically each time basically from their body basically the current generation basically gets generated. So currently which earth planet basically which is ongoing basically, currently basically which the earth planet basically is going of the human body basically, that is of that is of that is of that single person basically. So every time basically the world gets end, that single person basically keeps on changing the blood information. So currently which world basically is ongoing basically, that is of that person basically. Previously when the world was basically ended, that was of the this person blood cells basically. The world was created by that particular person's blood cells. Currently world basically which is ongoing basically, that is generated from this particular person's blood cells basically, whose age basically is 90,000 year old. And that particular person basically is having that data basically from the universe. The universe basically is having the data from that particular person, and that name basically one of the person basically has also given, that is yoga basically. Yoga also you can say basically. Yoga, that single person basically is into yoga mode basically, you can say. Not coma mode basically, that coma mode is totally different basically. Here basically it's yoga mode basically. So you can just imagine basically the world has connected. So one of the person told that world is basically like this created basically. So one of the person told that also basically, that the entire design basically is created like this. Data gets keeps on activating, and this only basically the universe group have the rights basically to activate and deactivate the blood cells basically. Assume that basically one of the person told that basically we want to do the we want to basically do the 10 time we want to repeat the 10 time history basically. We want to repeat the 10 time history. So what they are going to do now?